Good day for everybody. Today we are going to learn another poem from Orwell Literature Syllabus, Huntsman by Edward Lowbury. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Silence is golden. So we have to be silent in our behavior rather than just talking and put into trouble. So it reminds of this kind of moral in it. So it's a good lesson for us also. Edward Lowbury was born in 1913. He was an English bacteriologist, pathologist, and published poet. Themes: needless and witless thinking always leads to self-destruction. Mindful thinking and mindful talking is paramount for a good life for a person. Humans don't use their brain properly. Skull without a brain spoke intelligently. Main thing is that you have to use your brain and live a practical, pragmatic life with common sense. So that is about silence is golden. Uh, Talking out of turn, shooting the mouth. So if you are too much talking, you have to trouble. මාළුවා නැහෙන්නේ කට කියලා කියන්නේ. So it reminds of this thing also. This kind of behavior brings disaster. Warning about being discreet. So you have to be prudent in your behavior. May have reference to the denial of free speech in restricted societies. In certain societies, speech is restricted, so you need to be careful about your behavior. Techniques. Techniques, narrative story, rhyming pattern, A, B, C, D, dialogue within the narrative, irony, the skull is discrete, the live human is not that. That means skill is more, skill, the skull, sorry, that skull is prudent, whereas live human is not that prudent. Kenyan folklore, symbol, skull, symbolizes death. Personification, the skull open its mouth. So that's kind of a supernatural elements, the skull open its mouth. Kinesthetic imagery, the skull open its mouth. It has a ballad form also, because farewell to ban and stack country, it's a traditional ballad. So this might also has some traditional features. Inversion, have I seen or heard a skull which spoke? So it was kind of an inversion. Antithesis, actions of Kagwa and the king. So it's an antithesis. Role reversal also with the skull and the Kagwa. Humor also adds from the skull never replies when even if Kagwa pleads to speak. Irony, talking brought me the skull words are so ironical that it is a prediction of Kagwa's end. First person narrative voice is there. Dialogue within narrative. You can see suspense waiting for skull's response. So you can try this question. One day he found the skull of a man and said to it, how did you come here? The uh, skull opened its mouth and said, talking brought me here. From which text are these lines taken? Who is the writer? So you can write that answer. Who is referred to as he? You can try that question also. What is the evidence that you find to prove that this could be a folk tale? So these lines are taken from the poem Huntsman by Edward Lowbury, who is referred to as he. The Kagwa you can write down. What is the evidence that you find to prove that this could be a folk tale? Because it has a narrative voice, and it brings about the reminds about the past story, and it carries certain dialogue forms with narrative. So you can just prove that it is coming from the past, and it has a folk elements also. Sometimes you are getting D questions also. The D question would be, so write a technique based on these lines. So you can write a technique. Talking brought me here. It's a kind of a ironical reference like that. Never since I was born of my mother have I seen or heard of a skull which spoke. So you can think about the first one, obviously Huntsman by Edward Lowbury. Who is speaking here? That is the king is speaking. Who is the speaking to? Maybe the people in the palace. Uh, why does the speaker talk about a skull? Because they were very much, I'm curious to know about the situation that the clocking skull. So they need to find out the miracle behind that one. So you might be getting another question, that is the technique and impact of that. So the obvious technique is you can talk about the humor, because the skull and the you can talk about immersion, because uh, never since I was born of my mother, so you can have I never so you can just talk about inversion. Have I seen, though it should be I have seen or heard of a skull. So it's a technique of inversion, because the technique of inversion, there's impact might be the king is very much confused about the situation. So the poet employs the technique of inversion. So that is part D here. So if you are interested some more things, you can subscribe my channel Indika English Academy. So sometimes you are getting questions on excessive worthless talking may ruin people. This idea is portrayed through humor, Edward Lowbury. So Huntsman. So you need to discuss about the poem in general, and you need to discuss about the Kagwa's question and the result, and excessive worthless talking of the skull. Talking brought me here. Then information given by Kagba to the king is not a matter of concern. The king shows worthless talking. Kagba's death shows results of unnecessary talking. Humor is brought out in the sad incident through irony. Kagba as a hunter, lions, and his appearance can be contrasted with his conduct as a communicator, conveyor of information, role reversal. Kagba and the skull brings out humor. Absurdity, Kagba talking to a skull, the brainless skull talking. When the skull feels threatened, keeps quiet. So like that, you need to discuss some more things about those questions. So we'll meeting some more things. Thank you very much for being with me. So subscribe my channel. Have a nice time.